We are done running ourselves into the ground trying to be everybody's everything. Hear me clearly. That is not your ministry. That's how high achieving women burn out, not how they win. That version of you, she is expired. Discipline does not require self abandonment. This season requires calm, rooted execution. You can be disciplined, consistent, and successful without betraying yourself. If your version of discipline requires exhaustion, anxiety, and self abandonment, that's not discipline, that's survival mode. Calm execution will always outlast forced hustle. This season requires discernment and not desperation. When you move in alignment, panic becomes unnecessary. Confident and empowered women exist for women who want to feel grounded in who they are while they grow into who they're becoming. Here we talk about self-love, self-trust, discipline without burnout, emotional safety, boundaries, confidence, and showing up consistently in a way that actually lasts. This isn't about hustling or proving yourself. It's about building a life that feels aligned and sustainable. Subscribing just means you don't have to navigate these seasons alone. And this space is here to support you as you evolve. And I'm so happy you are here. Hey. Welcome back, Queen. Take a deep breath with me real quick. Not a rushed one, a settling one. Because today we are talking about discipline, but not the kind that runs you into the ground, shames you into productivity, or turns your life into a performance review. We are talking about discipline without self-betrayal. Because listen, if discipline has ever felt like punishment, if consistency has cost you your peace, if productivity has required you to abandon yourself, that was never the assignment. For the record, we are done running ourselves into the ground, trying to be everybody's everything. That is not your ministry. Go on ahead and leave that to God and Jesus. You can be productive, you can be disciplined, you can execute beautifully without running yourself ragged. And yes, heavy on the without. And if you've been neglecting yourself, your relationships, or the things that matter most to you, that's not a cue to shame yourself. That's an invitation to reconnect. Everything isn't a problem. Sometimes it's just information and the positive option is always available. Hustle culture had us believing the more we hustled and joined Team No Sleep and efforted our way to success, that we'd get there faster. And I think it's safe to say now we can see the lie because that was never the only way. One of the reasons I love high performance coaching so much is because, yes, we talk clarity, strategy, and execution, but we also talk about maintaining you, your energy, your purpose, your courage, the things that bring fulfillment to the center, instead of keeping it out of reach like some mythical unicorn or a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. My clients experience a high level of flow and balance that changes not just how they perform, but how they show up in their lives. And I didn't even plan to go here, but if you're feeling the nudge for more personalized support, you can book a free main character alignment call. It's linked in the show notes. But before we go any further, just know exhaustion does not have to be a part of your success story. In fact, let me tell you something that still surprises people to this day. When I got laid off, I was calm, not numb, not disassociated, calm, because the decision had already been made before that event. I had already told God I wanted to coach full time. I trusted the dreams and desires He placed on my heart. So when the news came, I literally spent the rest of the day consoling everybody else. Years later, my godmom told me she was waiting for me to call her in shambles, but that call never came because when you decide ahead of time who you are, circumstances don't get to decide for you. What was left for me to do was simple: put my faith foot forward and move. We no longer let chaos swirling around us determine our mood or how we move. You get to be the calm amidst the storm. That's not personality, that's practice. That's identity based discipline. If discipline hasn't worked for you the way that it's been taught, it's not because you are undisciplined. It's because the approach wasn't built for the season you are in. So instead of talking about discipline in theory, I want to give you something you can actually lean on. Not a rigid system, not rules to follow perfectly, but in a way that honors your capacity, your values, a framework that supports your nervous system while you stay consistent. This is the way I move, and it's the way I coach my clients to move when they're done burning themselves out. But let's be honest, it is so much more effective to do this ahead of time because, first and foremost, you already know what burnout looks like for you because you've done it enough times. You know the signs: irritability, brain fog, resentment towards things you once loved, going through the motions without joy. Burnout doesn't usually ambush you. It actually sends calendar invites first. Awareness is not weakness, it's leadership. So know how burnout shows up for you. Next, plan ahead for the busy seasons, but do it without abandoning yourselves. Even in full seasons, you can still create pockets of peace. So ask yourself, where do I rest while moving? Where do peaceful moments live in my day? What relationships matter most to me right now? And where are they protected in my schedule? You see, self care isn't just candles and bubble baths, it's how you structure your life, nurture yourself, nurture what matters. So ask yourself, what do you need during this season to support you? And then make it happen. If you are knee deep in motherhood, those car rides to pick up kids become a peace haven. If you're focused on your career and you want to maintain connections with your partner, where does that show up for the two of you? How can you be more intentional when date night is just not an option? This is all about collaboration, commitment, and creativity. It's easy to pack out your calendar with busy work, but also make it a point to build in breathing room and bonding. And next, I really want you to define success for this season because success really is seasonal. What does winning look like right now? Does it look like fewer tasks, more presence, consistent effort without emotional depletion? Because listen, when we make a definition, we often don't pay it a revisit. We might be operating under a definition of success. Because, truth be told, you might be operating under a definition of success you had 20 years ago. While it may fit that season perfectly, it may not match this season at all. Seasons change, and so should our definitions. You are allowed to change, to contradict beliefs you've outgrown, gain new perspectives, insights, and from those experiences, you bloom. That's evolution at its finest. And your definition of success deserves to evolve with you. When I was in my hectic mom season, It was not possible for me to cook 7 nights a week. There was going to have to be some nights where we ordered out or a good old do it yourself kind of night. The key during that season wasn't guilt, it was gratitude. Because however many meals I was able to make, I considered it a blessing. You can't always run last season's plays in the new season. So pause and ask yourself, how does my body feel when I'm winning during this season? And answer honestly. You don't owe anyone a justification for redefining success because success that looks good on paper but leaves you depleted isn't success, it's a setup. And we are no longer setting ourselves up for failure. Okay? Okay. So, as you redefine success for this season, I also want you to create milestones and celebrate as you go. You don't wait until the finish line to feel proud. You don't have to wait years to celebrate progress. People often wonder why they lose their zest for their dreams or the big seasons in their life. It's because they've been sitting around waiting for something like a graduation to give them permission to celebrate. Celebrations create momentum, safety, and sustainability. They reignite your why, the reason why you're doing all of this to begin with. They remind your nervous system that progress is happening now, not someday far off in the distance. Those milestones give you something closer to look forward to, something that keeps your why alive and visible. Define success for this season, create milestones, and celebrate. This is you going through the motions of your life. And just really quick, let's talk consistency because it's not perfection. It's letting your habits support you, not police you. You are allowed to fumble through new seasons while you smooth out your systems. We are not surviving, we are striving. We are creating synergy and flow. So be proud of how you show up and hold yourself accountable where needed but with grace. Accountability doesn't need to sound like a drill sergeant to be effective. Kindness can still be powerful. Most women don't struggle with understanding what they need. They struggle with staying connected to it. The main character momentum builder was designed to solve just that. It supports you in choosing from self love consistently, even when life gets busy or your energy shifts. Over time, that consistency becomes momentum, the kind that changes how you show up across your life. You'll find it linked below. And now I want to show you how to start choosing yourself in real time. So, we've talked about discipline without self betrayal. We've talked about calm execution, discernment, and redefining success for the season you're in. But all of that only works if you know how to meet yourself in the moment. When the to do list gets to doing, when it's way too long, the pressure is real. And old habits, they want to take over. This is where self love becomes practical, not a feeling, not an idea, a response. I want to share with you my self love two step, the rooted response. It's a simple way you can use anytime you feel pulled in different directions and don't want to abandon yourself just to keep up. Step one, settle and notice. I want you to check in before you check off. Before you move into action and start checking things off your list, pause long enough to settle, not to overthink, just to notice. And ask yourself, what do I need to stay regulated while doing this? Maybe you do need a slower pace. Maybe you need breathing room. Maybe you need to shorten the task or ask for support. This step is about creating enough internal space so your body knows it's safe to move forward, because discipline that starts in dysregulation will always cost you way more than it gives. Step two, respond from alignment. You do this by keeping promises you actually believe in. Once you're settled, then choose your response, not based on who you think you should be, but based on the best of who you are right now. This is where self trust is built, not just through the big declarations or the perfect, pretty plans, but through realistic commitments you keep consistently. Alignment doesn't mean doing less all the time, it means doing what supports you instead of abandoning yourself just for the sake of momentum. Self trust is built through realistic commitments kept consistently. Alignment doesn't mean doing less all the time. It means doing what supports you instead of abandoning yourself just for the sake of momentum. And this two-step, it matters because it interrupts the cycle of being stuck in reaction mode. You aren't lacking discipline. This two-step teaches you how to pause without quitting, how to choose without forcing, and how to stay consistent without betraying yourself. And the more you practice it, the calmer your execution becomes, the steadier your confidence feels, and the less you need panic, pressure, and urgency to motivate you. This is how discipline becomes sustainable. This is how self love becomes lived. And this is how you build a life that feels aligned, not rushed. Now, let me pour into you real quick. If discipline has ever felt heavy, punishing, or disconnected from who you are, it's not because you failed. It's because survival was driving. And survival always asks for more than it gives back. Survival mode will always ask you to sacrifice yourself first. But you were never meant to be the offering. You were meant to be supported, sustained, and steady. We don't build our lives by abandoning ourselves up and through here, okay? We don't do that here. And this season isn't about proving how much you can endure, how much you can pile onto your plate without breaking a sweat. It's about learning how to stay with yourself while you grow. This season is about honoring yourself, aligning your life with what success looks like for you right now, and celebrating yourself along the way. Your life, it's meant to feel lived in the best way. You are meant to enjoy the journey. That means loving your days, not secretly resenting yourself for being the busiest person in the room while wondering why you're also the unhappiest. The busy season doesn't have to beat you up or tear you down. When you reach the finish line, you deserve to look as good as you feel and have a life that reflects it. So fall in love with your days. Build days you actually love to live. That's when happiness and fulfillment stop competing and start working together. This is how you enjoy the journey, all of it, because you trust that it's working for your good. Success is what you define it as in this season of your life. Let it look good on you, friend. As I always remind you, you are not broken, you are not behind, and you're not undisciplined. You are learning how to move with yourself instead of against yourself. And that kind of discipline, it lasts, it heals, it multiplies. Stay calm, stay rooted, stay you. And when things get loud, and trust that they will, remember the rooted response. Settle, notice, then respond from alignment. May you move through this season with discernment instead of desperation and with the confidence to trust yourself as you grow. Ooh, so good. Remember, around here, we don't settle, we shine. All because together we can encourage over everything.